Hello, welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast. I'm David Ward with the New Vision program, and our topic for this week is going to be Do Not Disturb on Amazon Echo. That's right, Do Not Disturb. So it's a feature you have on most cell phones, but did you know you have it on the Amazon Echo? Well, we're going to discuss that. But before we get into how those gears mesh together and how it works, we're going to do a brief message about our podcast, and then we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Hello, welcome back again. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about the Do Not Disturb feature this week with the Amazon Echo. But before I get into all those things, I'll just tell you, if you're a new listener, welcome. I'm David Ward, an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill. If you've been listening for a while, we're welcoming you back as well. And I think you might find this really handy. This feature's been around a long time. Don't really recall mentioning it much in season 1. Thought we might need to actually burrow into it a little bit. And the Do Not Disturb feature, that is. Now, before I get into discussing this in any sort of detail, I don't want to trigger your Echo at home, especially if you're in the same room or you're listening to this episode on your Echo. So it would be good to shut your Echo's ears off. And so if you have a cylinder Echo or an Echo Dot, like a little hockey puck, on the top you'll find a button with a silhouetted microphone with a slash through it. It's right across from the button that has a bump on it. You push this button with a silhouetted microphone, you'll hear a thump sound, the ring will turn red on top, and her ears are shut off. She won't respond. Now, obviously, you're going to need to turn that back on after we're done. Now, if you have an Echo with a screen on it, like I'm using in the studio today, when the screen is facing you, you need to reach across the rim of the top, and there should be several buttons. There should be a button on the far left. Press that, and that will mute her ears on the Echo Show line of products, and put a red bar across the bottom of the screen. That tells you visually that she's no longer listening. Okay, so I'll give everybody just a second to do that. Okay. Hopefully, got it. Now, by the way, you can always pause this podcast and resume. Okay? All right. Hopefully, everybody's got a chance to do that. Now we'll get into it. So, Do Not Disturb settings. So to begin with, to find the Do Not Disturb settings, you open the Alexa app on your smartphone or your tablet. You can also go to the website alexa.amazon.com and find these settings. Now, in the app, you would tap the menu button in the top left corner. I believe it has 3 little lines on it. That'll slide out a menu. And from that menu, you need to go near the bottom of that menu to Settings. Tap on Settings. And then that will open up your core settings console. Now, Do Not Disturb is a feature that is isolated to each Echo that you have, even though they're all on the same account. So if you have an Amazon Echo upstairs in your house and then you have one in the basement, those are treated separately. And you have to configure the Do Not Disturb settings separately for each one of them. So there isn't a group setting for all of them, which I guess is a little frustrating, but it's just currently the way it works right now. So in that case, once you're under the main settings console, you need to actually tap about second or third button down. It says Devices, and that will bring up a list of all your devices. So the particular one you would configure, you need to tap on that. Say it's an Echo, you have listed as upstairs, or Echo in basement. Whatever Echo you're wanting to change the Do Not Disturb settings on, tap on that. And then it will bring up the individualized settings for that particular Echo. And from there, you want to go down to Do Not Disturb. All right, so under the Do Not Disturb page for your individual Echo, you have an interesting option. You have turn on or turn off. So you can manually just turn it on right then and there. And as it mentions on that page, certain things will continue to notify you or chime on your Echo. For in other words, if you had just set an alarm, that's still going to go off. You'd set a timer for your pizza. When you flip Do Not Disturb on, it's not going to mute the timer. In other words, your pizza is going to burn. You're still going to get alarms and timers that you've already set. But Do Not Disturb will block other notifications, perhaps phone calls or video conferencing things trying to come in on your Echo. You're not going to get disturbed by those sort of things. And that kind of makes sense because, like in my case, I use the Amazon Echo as an alarm clock at home to wake me up every day. But I have Do Not Disturb set between 9 o'clock at night and maybe like 6 in the morning. But I don't want that to shut off my wake up clock. So, I need to have that, those are two mutually exclusive things. All right. Now that leads me to here in the settings panel. Not only can you toggle it on and off at any given time, you can also schedule it there. And there at the bottom of that page, you can set the time that it turns on and then the time that it turns off. And like I said, you might want to do that at night. Or if you're a day sleeper, you might need to do that during the day. Now, the first toggle that I mentioned where you just flip it on and off, let's say something important's happening, you don't want to be disturbed, you can even do that verbally. So let me demonstrate that here in studio. Alexa, turn on Do Not Disturb.
I won't disturb you.
She won't disturb me. Oh, she makes a little jingle there. Okay? So it's that easy. And then you can say, Alexa, turn off Do Not Disturb.
Do Not Disturb is now off.
Okay, there we go. So we got the feedback. So you can do that at any time without having to even open the app. You can just do it verbally. But obviously, if you need to configure specific times during the day as a schedule, you'll need to do that in the app or on the website. Okay, now I didn't get a chance to burrow into this in any detail, but you may be able to link this with routines. We discussed that in Season 1. Routines are the ability to stack a number of different things together. Say you want to have a bedtime routine where you say, hey, lady, it's time to go to bed. And she starts to dim all the lights, and maybe she turns the security system on, and maybe she plays some soft music, and she sets a sleep timer to shut the music off in a certain amount of time. And maybe then she turns on Do Not Disturb. That way it's not linked to a schedule, but she just turns it on and then she knows to turn it off in, say, 8 or 10 hours or something like that. I don't know if that's possible, but I wouldn't be surprised. You might want to check under routines. They keep adding things. And I think I'm kind of leaning towards Do Not Disturb as one of the things you can add to a routine, but I honestly can't remember. But that might be a useful thing to note as well. All right, well, until next time, and next time we're going to be talking about another topic with your Amazon Echo, and that is, it is all about that bass. That's right. We're going to be talking about adjusting the equalizer on your Amazon Echo next time. Until that time, it's time to turn your microphone back on. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program at Goodwill, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.